Welcome to the Blade Job, everyone. I am James Trainer, joined as always with High Voltage Scott Perkins and Blade Job Collins himself, Tommy Collins.
Hello.
We have a fantastic episode for you tonight. We are talking about what is so lovingly being called NXT of Honor. WWE pulling up all of these top indie stars, bringing them in. Some of them get to keep their names, some of them don't. We discuss why. Check us out on Twitter, of course, at The Blade Job Show. Don't forget to follow Scott Perkins at
High Voltage 1987
and THC at
Blade Job Collins.
You remembered your Twitter names. That is the best we've ever done, I think.
It's probably one for the record books.
Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thebladejob, thebladejob.com. Hopefully you're checking this out on our YouTube page. If you are, check out all the other videos, like, subscribe, all of that YouTube nonsense.
Share it.
Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook.
Share it with your dad.
Your dad probably likes our show. If he doesn't, we don't need your dad. So enjoy the show, everyone, and let's get to it. Hey!
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
No.
Okay. Just for you then.
Yay!
So, lately, past few years, WWE has been grabbing a lot of big name independent stars.
Yes, they have.
A lot, and making that more publicly known rather than just pretending that they created them completely.
Look at this fucking guy we found.
We found on the side of the road.
They've won championships all over the world.
Right. Exactly. Now, for those other promotions that they're taking from,
Yes.
Ring of Honor, New Japan, and even smaller ones going down beyond Chaotic,
And don't forget about Limitless Wrestling in Maine.
Limitless Wrestling.
I'm just going to
and-
pimp everyone's shit until people like me.
That's true. That's the way to go through life. Is in the long run, is that helping those promotions and the industry, or is it kind of hurting it because of how WWE runs their company? And
Poorly?
Poorly, you're kind of locked into just WWE. You can't go other places.
So I want to, right off the bat, I was listening to the wrestling podcast about nothing.
Check them out.
Cheap Pop. Brian Milonis and Mike Rock. It was a lot of fun. And their episode, whenever this was, maybe it was 1 week, maybe it was 2 weeks, maybe it was 3 weeks, I don't know, ago, and they were talking about the life of a WWE extra and how much things have changed since the days of dark matches.
I think that was like last week. I saw it.
It was
list.
last week where we are, but this might be the future.
Oh.
Tommy Collins, this might be the future.
People will hear us in the future.
Yeah, this is time travel kind of shit. Whoa. But, you know, back then they would bring in indie talent to run dark matches before Raw, before SmackDown, before pay-per-views, so they could showcase local talent, and also so they could say, hey, this guy's pretty good. We should hire this guy and let him do the thing. So without that now, I'm assuming what Vince and Hunter are doing is pretty much the same thing we're doing, where they're just going on YouTube and saying, that guy's pretty good. We should call him. And so
William Regal goes.
he does. And they used to send JR to a lot of stuff too. JR spent a ton of time up at New England Academy of Pro Wrestling just scouting talent. But now with the advent of the internet and YouTube, which we talked about on a previous episode, about how we have so
The
much
invention of the internet.
Yeah.
We have talked about that.
Thank you, Al Gore.
we talked about the fact that we have this access to professional wrestling now as fans. I didn't even really think about it that WWE, TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, whoever, they have access to the same shit.
They also have the internet.
They have the internet.
How did they get the technology?
I don't know how they got it, but they do. And I wonder if that's how they're scoping a lot of their talent out, because they can just sit in a room and watch those videos. We have seen, 10, 15 huge indie talents debut in the past year in WWE or NXT.
Yeah.
For the most part. To me, it seems like they're scooping up talent, but
it seems like a big rush the past couple years, a lot more so than previously.
are they afraid? Are they afraid that Ring of Honor has gained traction? Are they afraid that the American audience has now realized that New Japan Pro Wrestling is
Awesome.
better?
I mean, especially with New Japan
super awesome.
in America now.
Yeah. Yeah, they got their own belt, which actually looks awesome.
Unlike WWE championships,
All these
look
other
pretty garbagey.
all these other promotions have their own streaming service now.
Yep.
Like Powerbomb TV. I mean, there's a lot more access to other content. So
yeah, right. You can
know,
literally like
it's not like the only thing
watch
on TV is WWE. You know, and you have to kind of hunt to find the other stuff for the casual, everyday fan.
I mean, for the most part, and it seems that WWE, yes, they've been grabbing a lot of indie darlings, as some people like to refer to them, but it's weird because they...
Oh, AJ Styles, you're my darling.
They
Darling
sign with WWE, but in very Vince McMahon fashion, they allow them to finish out their independent dates before putting the ball and chain on them and saying, no, you work here now and you're not allowed to work anywhere else.
Right.
I remember, watching Tommaso Ciampa in NXT for months, and then I go to an XWA show and there he is. Mm-hmm. And I'm very confused at this point. And it actually turned out to be his last indie date. So is this hurting those companies in the sense that they get to have these now active WWE and NXT superstars appear at their shows, but then knowing that you will never see them there again? Like, nope, you got to watch them on WWE now.
Right. So, I mean, you have that for a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that the WWE would, and they are definitely starting to let people they sign wrestle in other promotions, but I mean, it's like right now, if you look at Kushida, he just won the Pro Wrestling World Cup. He's at the time of this recording, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. He's the Ring of Honor Television Champion. It's like those are three totally separate promotions, but it's totally cool that he's wrestles, in all of those. Cody Rhodes wrestled for the Ring of Honor World Championship at a Northeast Wrestling show this couple weeks ago, against Jerry the King Lawler, which is pretty awesome. He defended, yes. He defended the Ring of Honor World Championship against Jerry the King Lawler.
Which is cool,
and funny.
We go to like a Beyond Wrestling show who's a promotion that doesn't have championships. They don't have titles in their promotion. But you'll see like Matthew Riddle show up, and as far as I know, he is still the WXW Shotgun Champion. I think, didn't he just win the Atlas Championship in Progress as well?
I don't know.
But or you go to, we went to Women's Wrestling Revolution, which also doesn't have any championships.
Right.
And we had, who was it? Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah.
Defending the Shine Nova Championship against Jordan Grace. And it's cool because it's like, all right, this promotion doesn't have championships, but since the independent circuit works in such a way where you can hold multiple titles in different organizations, just because we don't have a championship doesn't mean we can't have championship matches. I remember hearing an interview with Dean Ambrose one time where he talks about getting home after being on the road and looking around his apartment, and he's just got title belts lying around his apartment because he's holding championships in 10 different promotions. And that's cool because we'll never see Cody Rhodes show up on SmackDown with the Ring of Honor world title around his waist. he's, even if he was still Ring of Honor world champion when he inevitably re-signs sometime in the future, you know, he's going to drop that title before he goes back to WWE TV. It's not like the days of Medusa showing up on Nitro with the WWF Women's Championship. It's
the trash.
In the trash. But she brought it back, and she gave it back to where it belonged at the Hall of Fame. She did. It was a very touching moment.
That's classy.
Ric Flair did that, didn't he? With the was it WCW, or was it? It wasn't. He wrestled in WWF against Hogan, and he was claiming he was like the real world champion. It might have been the NWA or it might have been the WCW, but yeah, he showed up on Raw, or not Raw, but he showed up on WWF TV. This might have been the late 80s.
So, with the idea of them, you know, scooping up these independent talents, and are we seeing them, are they grabbing these men and women just because they feel threatened by these other promotions who they always claim are not competitors? That's a big thing that I've heard Vince McMahon say. TNA, Global Force, whatever the hell we're calling it these days, Jeff Jarrett is not a competitor. Ring of Honor is not. Ring of Honor at this point is just OVW. You know, it's a farm league without being a farm league, and that's, you know, maybe what they get for being the third largest promotion in the U.S. They're able to, you know, they're able to showcase their talent a little better, and obviously, you know, they have a lot of really good talent too. They do, because they are still an independent promotion. They have contracts, they have guaranteed money for their performers, but they do not limit their performers as to where they can go, what they can do, who they can wrestle. Right. Whereas even, I don't know about their current situation, but I know TNA for a long time, trying to be more competitive, decided that if you're under contract, you don't wrestle anywhere else. You can wrestle other places, but if they're recording it for DVD or TV or pay-per-view, you cannot be on their show, right. Which was a complete 180 from what TNA was doing for years, where they were allowing their guys to, you know, you're still an independent contractor, you do whatever you need to make money. Just when we call you, we ask that you please come to TV and you show up for our pay-per-views, right, because we are promoting that you work for us. So with that being said, I can understand why WWE would want to, what's the word I want to say, you know, benefit from these names that are so big in Ring of Honor and Global Force Wrestling and New Japan and Progress and yada, yada, yada. But they bring in these names, and then the first thing they usually do is change them. And to me, that seems a bit ass backwards. We, obviously, we are in New England. One of my favorite performers in New England was Biff Busick, right, who is now Oni Larkin, whatever the fuck his name is, because it's a stupid name, and I'm sorry.
Oni Larkin.
If there's some godforsaken reason that Biff Busick is listening to this, I'm sorry if that name means something to you and that
Biff
was something
wanted
you
to
chose.
Change it.
It's his idea.
But it's such a weird name to me, and I felt that as a New England wrestling fan, when I heard that Biff Busick was going to NXT, I was very excited, and I checked the matches. I've said this before. I checked the matches waiting, you know, Biff Busick, where's Biff Busick? And I never saw him. I skipped over the episode he debuted in because I didn't see Biff Busick. And you know, why change names when you can use that for a promotional purpose?
Right. It's almost like they are taking these names, but still expect everyone to already be watching every WWE show and just recognize them once they get there. Not like you were saying, where you were checking the card every time and ended up missing it because they changed his name.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're just expecting you to always be watching WWE anyway.
It was the same thing that happened with Abby Lath, who is finally getting the notoriety she deserves with the Mae Young Classic. I knew her as Kimber Lee, and I loved her as Kimber Lee. I thought she was such a phenomenal performer. and like Aleister Black.
Yep. Tommy End, he was known all over, and now it's just Aleister Black, which, don't get me wrong, the whole Aleister Black character is definitely one of my favorites in the WWE right now. But it's like, most people know him as Tommy End, and there's tons of other guys.
I mean, one thing that really bugs me with all that too, that they're taking everyone, is as of this recording, the current state of Finn Balor.
What current state of Finn Balor?
Well,
he's in a feud to see who's the spookiest guy in WWE.
Well, right now,
now that the Undertaker's gone,
they brought him in. Gone. They gave him a huge push, and then he got injured. They brought him up to the main roster, gave him the new belt, the Universal title. Then he got injured, and since he's been back, they've already pushed all these other wrestlers up into that main spot where he was supposed to be, that it almost seems like they have nothing for him. Like, not that they're trying to bury him, but they have there's no spot carved out for him, and they just kind of aren't sure where to put him now.
Right.
Like, they moved on so quickly and had all this other talent that they brought up, that
right.
Now he's back, and
when he
they don't know what to
do. When he came back, like, that night, he should have just been like, that I get the next shot at the Universal title. Like, that's mine. And I don't understand how he hasn't got another title shot at it, but
right.
I digress.
Now, and obviously one of the bigger names that had it's funny, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens comes into the company, into NXT, already a massively established name, as Kevin Steen.
Kill Steen, kill.
And that leads me directly to my point, is WWE brings in Kevin Owens.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, well, you know what? Your name's not Kevin Steen anymore. And from what I understand, they let him choose his name because Owen is his son's name.
Right. It's Owen Hart is more or less what it is. It is his son's name, but his son's named after Owen Hart.
Yeah. So KO comes in, and they're like, okay, we're repackaging you, and you're gonna be Kevin Owens now. And he's like, oh, awesome. Okay, what am I? They're like, well, you're exactly like Kevin Steen, but we're gonna change one part of your name. Yeah. He's still the exact same character.
You're a husky Canadian fella in basketball shorts. Yeah. It's like, oh, good, I'm pretty good at that.
He's a brawler.
He's been doing that his whole life.
He goes out there, even his catchphrase, kill Steen, kill,
fight Owens,
fight Owens, fight. It was the same package, just with a little different coat on it, and I don't really understand.
It's slightly
why.
More family friendly. I don't understand the name change, but like I get losing the kill Steen kill and the fight Owens
kill.
Fight.
Yeah.
It's slightly more family friendly, but I don't like. Why are we like? Is it weird that his last name is Steen? I don't know. Why can't we just?
Okay, well, in that case, if it's trying to be more family friendly, why didn't we get, Lovable Joe? Joe is gonna love you. No,
because that actually just sounds
Joe's gonna kill
terrifying.
You. We all know Joe's gonna kill you.
The first one scared me a little more.
So
please kill me, don't love me.
So we look at stuff like that. Bringing in these independent performers. Like, I was so happy at TakeOver when Adam Cole came out and they said the words Adam Cole, because I was waiting for them to say some nonsense bullshit about like, oh, look at that. That's
John Stevens.
Yeah, John Stevens from that promotion we don't talk about.
He's won championships all over the world. Damn it.
The fact
the same thing with Bobby Fish.
Yeah, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly.
Bobby Fish. And if we all remember a number of years ago, the let's be honest, the worked shoot that was the pipe bomb by CM Punk, one of the things that I have heard that they were legitimately heated about was him name dropping Ring of Honor. They were really unhappy that he mentioned another promotion on television, where at NXT TakeOver, they fully acknowledged Ring of Honor as a company.
Yeah, they acknowledge Ring of Honor now. I've heard them say, instead of championships all over the world, they've said like IWGP, whatever championship they've won, and it's
which
like,
are letters I never expected out of Michael Cole's mouth. I don't even think he knows what IWGP.
He just has it on a sheet.
Vince tells him in his ear. He doesn't know what it is.
Vince just screams at him.
I wonder if that has to do with them bringing in so many people that, everyone that's there is like, why deny this anymore? We all came from these promotions,
right? That
there's not that much of a, maybe from high up at Vince and a couple other people way up there, there's still, we don't talk about them. But as you get lower, the more people who are on screen.
But then you also
a little more accepting.
You also have guys like AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura who came in there, and now granted, Shinsuke Nakamura is his name. That is his real name.
AJ Styles, that's not
AJ
his
Styles.
real name.
It's just all of his kids' names.
It's all of his kids' names.
Oh.
That's why.
So they come in and they're like, okay, you can be who you, now. I guarantee with a name like AJ Styles, they didn't have a choice. That was probably number one in his contract. Is I keep the name, I wrestle under the name. You don't give me any shit about it because that's the only reason you're gonna get me. And God damn it, they wanted AJ Styles.
Yeah.
His debut at the Rumble was the only thing that made me legitimately mark out like a 13-year-old again. Like, that was huge. The Dudleys coming back was amazing. The Hardys coming back was amazing. That was a great nostalgia pops. AJ Styles stepping foot in a WWE ring was huge.
Hardys coming back. I almost pooped my pants. I'm not gonna lie.
It was cool. It was awesome.
That was crazy.
It was awesome. But the final indie darling that I want to talk about in this whole situation is Cassius Ohno, Chris Hero. I feel that changing Chris Hero's name was the worst thing they've done, because Chris Hero was not, this unknown independent wrestler. Chris Hero has a storied career throughout the independent circuit. He busts his ass. I love Chris Hero. Chris Hero's had matches with CM Punk that are 5-star matches. He's had matches with Bryan Danielson that are 5-star matches. He's had matches with Colt Cabana that are 5-star matches. He's had
in the Tokyo Dome, so they couldn't be 6-star.
Exactly.
But
sure.
Continue.
And they bring him in, and once again, I'm sorry if this means something to you, but they give him this weird ass name. And I like to think that they sit down with their performers and talk about this kind of stuff. Like, what do you want your name to be?
You would like to think so.
But I also think that Vince lines them up and just goes, this is your name now. This is your name now. Shut up. I don't like you. This is your name. It's just, why not use these names as marketing? Why not use these established names? And I get it that, you get to the Performance Center, you get to NXT, and they reteach you how to wrestle. Which, whatever, like, it's their company. They can do what they want, but there's a reason these guys are as good as they are, is because they've spent the years honing their craft. They've spent the years learning the ins and outs of the business, and then you show up at the main event stage, and they're like, well, we don't do it that way here. Well, there's a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
There's ropes.
It's just it's a little bit bigger of a ring than most of them are.
Yeah,
used to.
That's not what they do here.
And but like, why do we have to reinvent the wheel when we bring these guys in?
Right.
And by we, I obviously mean them.
Right.
I'm not bringing anyone anywhere.
I'm low on gas, and you need a coat.
It just.
I think it goes back to they still want to project that image that they're the only company out there. They're the only promotion out there. I'm not saying that it's true or that it's even close to believable, but it's just, Vince McMahon, he's been in charge forever, somehow still alive, and he's set in his ways. Well, maybe. We'll see when this airs.
He's the genetic jackhammer, man.
Yeah, and I mean, he's set in his ways, and if he's the boss and he still has that set in stone. It's not going to change overnight.
Will things get better for WWE when Triple H takes over?
Yes.
1,000% yes.
Yes.
It's if you look at Cruiserweight Classic, Mae Young Classic, UK Championship Tournament, like
NXT in general.
NXT in general.
Dusty Rhodes.
That's Dusty Rhodes Classic. That's Tripp's thing, and I think he's done a fantastic job with all of them. Like it's mostly Vince is mostly hands off according to what I've read with all of that, and it's Big Nose Paul can run a fucking wrestling show. I swear to God, I am looking forward to the day when Vince no longer really has much to do with the WWE as a whole, because then I feel like wrestling will get that much better once, because I feel like Triple H will let guys be Chris Hero, Tommy, and all those people can be that instead of changing their name, changing their appearance and everything. They'll just let the indie wrestlers be indie wrestlers, and everyone will go home happy.
I hope that's true. I really, really do. I look forward to a day when WWE becomes WWE again. When WWE, I don't want to say this in a weird way. I wait for the day when WWE becomes WWF again. Not the name, the talent, the way the show is run. It's not about PG-4 or TV-14. It's not about the blood and gore. It's not about the sexual content, the adult situations. It's about professional wrestling. And I feel that the main roster has lost their way.
Yes.
Not the performers. The performers are doing what they're told. They're workers who are doing a job. But you see the difference between a wrestling promotion run by a wrestler and a wrestling promotion run by a promoter.
Right.
Yep.
Not even a promoter run by a CEO at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Run by a crazy old man.